Sally's just going into trance. Just going to zoom in again. This will be one of the last lives we do via the mobile. We'll be using Zoom soon. So I'm just, excuse me for the strange zooming in business. There we go. So pleasure to have you joining us today. Hello and big love to the 3 people that patiently waited. Pleasure to have you with us. Just letting yourselves go deep as Sally goes into trance. Hello, Derpal.
My beautiful, beloved children, I see you. Many lights are shining at this time that I bring to shine into dark places, my beloved children, that have never seen the light. There are parts of the universe that have forgotten my presence. There are beings, many souls, who have been hidden away, robbed, taken into hiding. Yet I see them. Beloved, none is lost to me. Know this, every soul that is ever born emanates from my heart, from the love. I am the love, beloved, as you are born and present within the heart of love. And every soul I never forget, I watch over, and even in their darkest hour, I am there. Even in what many call hell, a darkness so dense, so deep, beloved, know that I am there, watching, waiting, bringing my light, waiting for each soul to decide, to remember, and to return, to come back to the heart of love, to come home, to rest in me. I who am within you, the very center, the wholeness of your heart. We are not separate, my beloved children. That which feels separate is the pain of forgetting. And when you start to remember, to feel me, to recognize my presence, I who am the love, the essence of your highest and deepest love, presence, divine. I am always here. And beloved, that part of you is also eternal. And now that you are born, you can never die. Only in body and only in moments of forgetting. There is a death that precedes a new birth. I love you. I am love in you, and you are love in me. We are one love. And I bless you. And you are my blessings. Natokeare te kartash kotyon tame so satakash koya amutame uradash svikem etoke. Yes. No, so,
Peace.
yeah, greetings. Welcome, Jerome. So, beloved ones who are gathered here, welcome to you. Blessings and peace. May the living spirit that is within all things come forward within you, that you may feel the presence divine, that you may feel the upliftment, the positivity, the power of love that is supreme within you. The truth of you, the authentic deep presence, all of you here, we welcome. And especially today, honoring all deities, all the beings who come forward from the divine source, who bring the supreme power of love. We call on this power to come forward within each and every one of you, and to bring its healing to all hearts and minds, the hearts and minds of all in the world who can embody love at this time, who can understand, and you especially, what is the work of love? What is the divine plan? What is soul evolution that each of you have committed to in this life? How does it look? What are the colors of love? What are the actions and words and thoughts of love? What understanding does love bring to difficult situations, and especially the whole of the human race dealing with fear? How can beings access the love that is beyond being affected in any way by the karma, by the wounding, by the abuses and cruelties that the ancestors carry and that come down to you to be understood and healed? And we welcome all the beings who are part of your web of life, your guides and helpers, family, relations, ancestors, and all your familiars in the worlds of nature, in the light worlds around you. Feel inside how much you have grown through this challenge, through what you are being asked to see and understand, that you can call negative, difficult, undesirable, yet see how much you have grown. See how God, Goddess are still right there with you. Nothing is out of place in truth, even though it all seems out of place with your earthly eyes as you watch more injustices, more separation, more confusion, more pain, and especially more fear, more uncertainty. Understand, if you can see it, if you are looking at it and just noticing, observing, look at that. And you, on the other hand, are staying in touch with your heart, with divine presence. You're staying in alignment with the source of all light, all love, all life. Then you realize what part you have to play. You just feel it in your body. You know it with all your heart, with your guts, with your intuition. You know what you have to do. And it's not even necessarily much of a doing, but it's a doing of your being. It requires your will. It requires your intention, your conscious intention. It requires your intelligence, your understanding, to see how it is that here on earth beings are working with, it seems, anything but love. And yet you know, and I know, and everyone gathered here knows that love is supreme. Love is the only energy that can transform pain. Love has many forms, forms of beauty, of truth, of healing, of divine presence, kindness, and compassion. Love is the great healer and takes many forms. Sometimes love says no. Sometimes love has to disentangle you from those you think you love, yet are your abusers. Love is the highest intelligence when it is allowed to be freely and speak to you from within. For love is the divine presence within you. What is this supreme love? Whence you are born. The love that in fact you crave to return to and feel again. All-encompassing, unconditional, deep, penetrating, touching you on the very inside of your heart. Perhaps you have known such a love. Perhaps you are in such a love. In terms of relationships and humanity, but of course, I am even speaking of a deeper love than most relationships can attain to. I'm talking about divine love, supreme love. There's no limitation. It's not bound to bodies or expression. It is the source of energy, the very energy of life. Love that perhaps is even less visible than all the signs of life and light. Love is the very source of creation. So just for a moment, just ask yourself that simple question. What calls love to the surface for me to express? What evokes love for me? It can be many things. Feel your expression. What gives you the greatest pleasure and delight? When do you feel most at peace? When do you feel safe, embraced? And perhaps you realize as you think about it, that when you're in touch with yourself, with your own feelings, when you know you, when you understand love, when you understand what is actually inside you, that is the true presence. And you stop looking out there and you stop seeking for it out there, but you know you will bring it out and you will have relationship. Love comes in response to love. When you love first, then you know you're the magnet. You're strong. You have all that you need. When love is abundant, pulsing, throbbing inside you, it calls to you, calls you to into action. It calls you to bring that love, to share it. Notice the divine beings have shared the entire universe with billions of human souls and billions of all kinds of souls that dwell in other dimensions of light, billions, trillions, gazillions. This universe, through the great love divine, is shared. It offers so many opportunities for experiences in all the bodies. And even those who turn their backs on love, they do that as part of their journey. And though there are those who say that that is a terminal decision, it is not. For even the negative, even all of hell, as you might say, as the goddess mentioned, is held within the divine embrace, yet allowed. That journey is allowed. Why, would you say? Why? When there is supreme love that could heal all beings, you say, but they must choose. For it is not until you choose that supreme love that it can flow freely inside you. And oftentimes it is out of the most dire pain, from what feels like eternal suffering, endless misery. It is often only then that beings realize what they have lost, and that what they lost, they threw away willingly. For no being is ever asked by the divine to walk away from love. But coming again to what we could call the fierce face of love, supreme love that can be fierce, which is why there are those who interpret the walking away from divine love that it can last a really long time and be a very big effort to return. And you see small examples in your life of those who say no to kindness, no to beauty, no to truth, and they get very stuck. And they can't move it in themselves. And many of you will have dealt with such beings. And you may be asking inside that question, so if love is supreme, why can't I, who feel it so much, wield it as a power and bring it to the healing of so many who are suffering? And so that's why I say to you, love is fierce. Love can say no. For love, the divine presence, above all, has created this universe for the evolution of love, the evolution of soul awareness, for the coming into consciousness in your body, in your heart, and in your mind, full consciousness, for you to take on the responsibilities of love, to embody it, to understand how to let it through raw, sometimes illogical, sometimes seeming to be hard, to be intransigent, how it comes through sometimes when you are trying to explain something that is deep and soulful and yet hard to explain, and where you need to explain to the person you are talking to that they have to give something up, or they have to tie cut with someone they think they love but are in fact just attached to in an unhealthy way. Is that love? They don't understand you. How can it be love? I want them to come to me. I don't want to. I want it to work. I want to disentangle it. I want to heal this relationship. Ah, yes. That is it all, love, really. Love, creates beauty, compassion, and liberates you from that which entraps you. For that which entraps you comes from fear, from lack, from ignorance, from misunderstanding. So when you feel your love, you start to come back into alignment. Sometimes in order to do that, you have to come back to yourself. Supreme love knows all these things, but you have to invoke it within yourself. That is what all my practices are about for you, to bring yourself back from wounded places, from past lifetimes, from all the places where you have walked away, even from yourself. All the practices that you do spiritually are to arrive fully, to be aligned in your body, heart, mind, spirit, to bring joy into your life. The joy that is love. That's right. The joy that is supreme love. So feel inside yourself. And you feel that joy. Perhaps you feel it with me, or with guides and helpers. Perhaps you feel it with some special people. Perhaps you feel it on your own. Perhaps you feel it when you create a beautiful work of art. What is love for you? And when you know what is love, then just go one stage further and say to yourself, so what is unconditional love, supreme love? What is divine love? How am I expressing that in my life? And if I'm not, how can I? Or if I am already, how can I do so more? What part of myself right now needs this love? Breathe into this path that is calling to you. Perhaps even in words saying, me, over here. I'm in pain. I feel lost, feel confused. Or just you have a sense of where it is. And remembering the minicosm within the macrocosm, just as you are calling to you from that place of discomfort or just awareness of your own needs, to be loved, to be held, to be honored, to be heard, to be seen, to be witnessed. Know that God, Goddess, are the same. They are the macrocosmic level of you talking to you, of you bringing the love to you. Because in the remembering of that perfect love, you embody it a little more and a little more each time. And as you open yourself and contemplate your life, your pain and suffering, your losses, your grief, or even your anger and your fear, your worries and anxieties. Take a moment, breathe deep, and feel that Goddess, God presence within you. Just breathe into it. And remember, that's right. God is God, loves you with that supreme love. And you didn't have to do anything to deserve it. You just do. Because you're made of a divine love. It gives you a divine right to that love. It's not even a question. It's only that you have to activate it. Somewhere inside you is that wisdom. Breathe into your belly, to your hara. You know everything I'm telling you, but we just come together to practice, to be. For every time you affirm the love, every time you say, I am love, I am peace, I am the living spirit within this body. I am embodying my higher self presence, who is embodying the divine presence, who pours into my being as the pure light of divine love. And I am here in this body upon this earth to manifest and embody that very love, to bring it first to all the wounded places in my being, my body, my heart, my mind, my memory. As I absorb this vast, immeasurable quantum of love that fills me up in every corner of my being, in every cell. I develop also the qualities of that divine love. Its power of seeing, its power of compassion, its power of transformation, its power of forgiveness, its power of longevity, its power of deep soul connection. I understand everything being this love. I am supremely patient. I see the pain and difficulty deep within my being, and I have great compassion for me, for each one. I have an important work to do and to share. For you always share your life, even if you are feeling very isolated right now, very separated from your beloveds. You're all sharing this. And you will come out of it. And many of you will have grown very strong during this time and very certain of what you feel and believe. And even now you are certain, for you are doing this work. And that is what you need to be very, very certain, very clear, very empowered within yourself about the truth and able to speak it. So whatever are the constrictions around you, however you are affected by all kinds of edicts, laws, and restrictions, remember this. You can always write. You can always speak. Record your voice. Don't be silent. Speak up. Say what matters to you. Speak your loving compassion for all the people you see who are suffering. Send it out. Try to share this with others, not to remain silent, but to speak in whatever way that you can. Do not allow yourselves to be curtailed in the matters of love. It simply is the very essence of your being. So the human race at this time is faced with this creation task to hold steady those sails on the choppy seas, to feel the winds of love blowing and keeping you on your course as you come through these times which may last for a while. You build stamina, you build vision, you build connection, you make friends. Friends who also remember and are committed to bringing the love through. And you notice, you observe, you watch deeply what is happening inside you, and you are honest and you communicate it. And you notice how love and light simply dissolve fear. It's inward. It can't be done on the outside. It happens on the inside. It's where the love arises, because you're inside and connecting with the divine beings, or higher self, or those many ascended beings gathering around you, pouring their love into you. It's a choice. It's a decision to be that vessel of love. So each day, I ask you to consider. We will do a short meditation at the end together. To consider that every day is a day of love. It's a day calling for love from you. And it's not hard. Actually, it's the most relaxing idea, because you are love. And in that day, as you call for the love to come forward, you realize that maybe first some fear might run out, and then perhaps some irritation, and then perhaps you get distracted, and then you have to start again. But that's all right. It's like when you go to make a meal in the kitchen and you have to wash a few pans first, or some plates, or you have to prepare some vegetables, but you carry on, you make that beautiful meal. Love is a food. Love is what you make inside yourself. You make it stronger. You make it clearer. You make it brighter all the time. You are a love maker. You are made from love, and you are making love in your life. So every day, call in your higher self and the power, the supreme power of love that is the energy of higher self. And look through those lenses. Look into yourself, into your emotional body, feelings, your thoughts. Look into your mind. Shine the spotlight of love with its warmth and kindness and compassion. And everything you see that is not love, just embrace it. Because you're dealing with the stresses and strains. You're growing, but you are also stretched, sometimes beyond what feels comfortable. And as you embrace all that is not love, in those moments when you are embracing, feel a power coming in and intend the love to dissolve the heavier, denser matter of the negative emotion that you have seen and that you want to dissolve. And especially feel the love for the vulnerable part of yourself, your child, any wounded part, any disorientated, lost, or hopeless aspects of your being. The thoughts, maybe thoughts you had a while ago and you're not having them anymore, but they're sort of sitting there. You remember them and they were perhaps they were negative and perhaps, yes, they just need some love. You are always creating. If you're not creating love, then examine what you are creating. Doubt, fear, anxiety, concern, judgment of others, blame of others. Perhaps you don't do it, but perhaps you see others who do and understand they don't realize they're doing it. And it may not be appropriate for you to tell them either. But you can love them. You can show them your love. Because whatever imbalance they are in, whatever unhappiness, but they're not feeling the joy, it is for sure because of a pain within them that they either see or do not see. And as we said, all pain is ultimately separation from the divine, from your highest self, from the truth that is within you. Take big breaths. If there are some questions, of course, I'm happy to answer them. I have no idea of the time, but we can always return to some deeper work. I listen for a while to see if there is anyone that would like to ask a question this day. Please.
Sandra asks, I think she's still unwell. She says, please could you comment on this illness? I'm still very weak, shaky, and sweating in bed. My son is helping, but studying as he must finish this year.
So, beloved, it is about the receptors. When there's been a lot of fear in the body, what happens is that the nervous system gets very worn out. It's physical. And of course, when you take medications for a long time as well, that wears out the receptors, the ability within you to receive this divine love I'm talking about, that in fact you know so well indeed, and have at times received ecstatically and had those experiences of presence, of divine presence. I know you are praying, beloved. I know you are doing everything that you can. I would like you to observe that it's very refreshing and very nourishing for you to receive the love of your son. It is interesting that you are doing a lot of inner work, inner awareness, I know you're feeling physically really ill and weak, and yet your soul has turned, you could say, turned a page in your life, a page of awareness. And I think your son knows that. He can feel that. And that is very important. However weak physically you are, relationships are of the soul, especially in a family, and especially when there's been really quite a difficult journey with your family. And so he is seeing your bravery, beloved, and he is having a chance to give back to you, and that is very important. So I'm certainly glad to hear that. So yes, beloved, visualize all the nerve endings, especially those in your brain, calming down. There's inflammation, and it all needs to calm down. You can imagine, calming, cooling, soothing energy soaking you, bathing in divine love. And don't hesitate to visualize yourself being embraced by Yeshua. Peace, beloved.
Peace. Chloe Masterton says, Dear Chung Fu, I am finding it hard to keep the faith. I thought there would be more people standing up to the increasing controls we're facing. I am worried I will also be forced to submit.
Peace, dear one. I can only imagine that if you changed a letter, you're talking about the Max or the Maxine. And so, yes, I use that code language because of the various reasons you are also talking about, beloved. I understand. Of course, everyone is dealing with this. People stand in different places, and you know where Chung Fu stands. In that sense, reach out to the vehicle and her family because they are engaged in a process that has the possibility to protect you. And so please do reach out about that and go through that process. And this is a process for the information of others, which it is done within the aegis of the common law. And it states that you have the freedom of choice and that none can indeed force you for any reason, even work, even travel, not for any reason should you be forced to give up any of your personal rights, your right to choose what should happen to you medically. It is literally ingrained in the laws of your land. And so the threats and the intimation that there could be a forcing, this cannot happen lawfully. It is only that you are worn down by fears that are imposed upon you and by the opinions of others who are, in that sense, influenced and also afraid and also misinformed and misjudging the situation, believe that that Max can help them when even the government itself states it does not mitigate against this disease. It does not prevent it. It does not make you immune. It does not stop you transmitting it. It does not stop anyone else transmitting it to you. And so you ask yourself then some deeper questions, and of course all of you have. And so that is then really your next step, is to protect yourself and to understand your rights and to claim them. And so that is a process. It's a lot of energy, but it's worth doing, dear one. Blessings and peace.
Blessings and peace. Yeah, the website that we subscribe to is called Solutions Empowerment. So that would be the thing to do, because I know there's a lot of people watching and maybe they're interested. So yeah, okay. Therefore says, um, is there a cycle happening between now and Easter that is anchoring in the Christ-like consciousness?
Peace, beloved. It's been happening since the solstice. And yes, that's quite right, beloved. The birth of the light, the resurrection, as you could say, the further ascension of the light, the feeling within each and every one of this enormous shift of energy, not only on Earth, but throughout the universe. And you will feel it inside your being. And the more you invite that light in, the easier you will find this transition, and the more protection will come around you. Peace.
Peace. So just two more questions and then we'll do a short meditation. Um, Mary asks, hello, I am trying to clean up my diet and heal ongoing physical problems, but then I am craving that which isn't good at all. Thank you.
Of course you are. That's why you're cleaning it up, beloved. Those are your moments of challenge. Those moments when you crave what's not good for you. You begin to contemplate and realize, well, no wonder I needed to do this rather a more extreme process. And I'm glad I'm doing it because I understand that I don't love myself in this place. Because, if you love yourself, of course, you're going to do what's best for your body. And perhaps you didn't know when you started to create that addiction or that craving. You didn't know it was bad for you. Perhaps you were younger, or perhaps, it was something that your mother did or gave to you to make you feel good. So many reasons why you become attached to that which you now discover and know is not good for you, as it were. It does take some self-love, some inner child understanding to navigate through those difficult, oh so physical needs and cravings. But you can do it. You can do it by holding your child in those moments and kind of making some little arrangements or deals with her. So if there's something that's really good for you that she also likes, you just hold the space. Well, I just want that. I want that. And you just say to her, look, we're going to have this other thing. It's just as delicious, but we're going to wait until this craving's over. We're going to get right through this. And that's really good. If you can do that, I love you so much. Thank you for trying. Yes, let's work together and feel that inner child place kind of jumping on board. Or sometimes she just pulls away. She just says, I'm going to have it anyway. I don't care what you say. And just notice that dynamic. Notice that it's very emotional food. It's all about what you're feeling. And when you feel you want something that you forbade yourself to have a look at who forbade you things and who tried to control you, or who you perhaps are trying to control right now. Or what, in a sense, you're bringing, like an edict into your body when maybe you need to approach it another way. But just listen, observe, and love. Love whoever you find in there. Peace.
I think it's fair to say, like, we're all emotional eaters.
That's quite
because
right.
it's a very emotional life we're having this one, where our guides are really asking us to really get emotional, really get honest about how we truly feel, and not shy away from true feelings. And something I do is, obviously I do it alone, because if you're having a meal with somebody, you're probably not going to try this one. But I eat some food real slow, I chew it loads, and then I make a sound from the stomach, and I speak to my body, and inside, and I'm like saying, okay, well, what sound is truly resonating right now? Like, what is the vibration coming from the body? And just being prepared to hear that, really listening. It is a kind of inner child work, as many of you know. Chung Fu's brings a lot about the inner child, and a lot of the work is about inner child work and working with crystals. But I will eat something, I will chew it, and then I'll then make a sound from my body, and I'll see what, sometimes I feel really frustrated or really like. So yeah, you could maybe give that a go. Just sounding the body, letting the body sound, feeling and being prepared to hear the vibration of the body. Peace.
And don't you sometimes do that before as well?
Yeah, just clear out, because the emotional gateway, which Chung Fu calls the hara, it can fill up with so much. It has a great holding power. It can hold everything really. So to what you can do is clear out those lower chakras, those lower centers, and the stomach, and all the organs around that area by resonating and vibrating that area, and getting in touch. Maybe maybe a little cry happens, maybe the emotion moves, and you're actually making space for the food. And Chung Fu talks a lot about blessing food as well.
That's quite
So
right, beloved.
before the food goes in your body, especially if they're white foods, like if you eat a lot of white carbs and things like this, it's really good to bless the food before it goes into the body. um yeah. There's wow, it's a big subject, isn't
It's
it?
a very big subject. You just mentioned white carbs, and I nearly had a fit and fell off the chair. Nobody here is eating white carbs
No,
too much.
no.
No,
Yeah.
because white carbs become very quickly white sugar,
Yeah.
which becomes very quickly imbalancing in the blood.
Yeah.
So, yes, so if you're eating white carbs, then definitely there's some. As the beloved who asked the question is, I'm sure, trying to clear that out. Yes.
Well, I've asked Chung Fu many times on some mastery around the organs and around food. So we'll see what comes in the future on that front. Clara Cardamone asks, "Hi, please could you explain what it means to be a multi-dimensional being? Lots of love."
Peace, beloved. Well, you are. So it's about perception, I think. Sometimes you come into an earth body and it's kind of a bit flat. You feel there's something missing, and gradually you realize, oh yes, that's my inner being. Actually, I'm not just a physical being, I'm a spiritual being. I'm made of light. I have thoughts. I have a mental body. So already, even just as a human being here upon the earth, you have your body, your heart, your feelings, your emotional body, you have your mental body. And then, as I say, you awaken and you realize, wait a minute, there are all these other beings. They're not physical, but I can feel presence. So you have the spiritual body. And then when you become aware of that spiritual part of yourself, that you are light, that you have something that is even beyond your mind, that there's a part of you that can tell your mind what to think. There's a part of you that can take you to other dimensions. And then perhaps you can realize from there that what I mean by multidimensional is even more than just spirit, mind, heart, body, which is already a lot of dimensions. Dimensions, what does it mean? You have the physical, you have this very dense, this third dimension, or density. We can say density as well. We can also say, in some ways, frequencies of light. So the densest frequency of light appears, and I have to use the word, it appears physical. It's become dense and appears solid. Then when you come into emotion, for some people, it appears very, if you like, it's very clear, it's very loud, it's very strong. Some people can't access their emotions very easily at all, you see, because they're in another dimension. They're in a light frequency. They are, when we say they're stored in the body, that's because they are the dense light and color that we can see. Spirit beings can see. That's why we can see if you're full. We can see what the nature of that fullness of emotion is. We can see what's in the mind, again, as color, as energy, as quality of thought, you see. So we see differently because, well, we are in other dimensions. So we, for example, when you talk about third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, or third density, fourth density, fifth density, or I sometimes say this physical plane, the emotional plane, and the spiritual plane, and of course the mental plane as well. Yes. And so it's to understand that once you get to the spiritual aspect of your being, now you are completely unleashed. And do you think that that's the end of life? When you leave your physical body and you go into the spirit world, you still have your emotional body, you still have your mental body, but now you are free to journey in the worlds of light. And you discover, just as you discover here, your emotions, your thoughts, and your spirituality. Once you unhook from the physical, you discover that you're passionate about many other worlds, other realities. And just like you want to travel in this world, see all kinds of wonderful differences of the ways people live and work and love and communicate. And that's a natural desire within you to in that sense, experience earth life. So it is the same in spirit life. And when you get into those higher realms, when you've gone through, of course, the bardos and all the emotional processes which you have to go through after a life, and often before a life, but especially after a life and before another life, you often take a big, what you could call it a holy day, a holiday, a time when you have resolved everything about the past life. You're wondering, where will I incarnate next? Will I incarnate? Maybe I'll go into one of the other dimensions and have an experience there. And so you are able to be guided by your guides, helpers, and sometimes ascended beings will come and assist to show you, to, in a sense, take you to other paths, other dimensions, higher frequencies within the cosmos. So it's a short answer, beloved, but what happens is you realize that you already know those places. And you understand that you can have what's called a parallel life, that sometimes your guides are in fact sourcing energy for you in this life from a life that is concurrent, because of there is no time in that other dimension, and in that spiritual part of you, no time. And so you can source, once you open up to your higher self, you can source energy from other dimensions of your being, where you are alive, where you might be in another dimension. You might not be aware of it, or you might be aware of it. There are some people, they are given all sorts of titles. They're told they're mad, schizophrenic, got multiple personality disorder, but they're very, very clear that there's a lot of them. And that's, of course, whether the mind can't code it, whether that being does not understand how to relate to these aspects which might just pop in for a moment, or just feel like they're there when they can't quite understand it. So it's, yes, it's perhaps rightly termed mental imbalance, because if the person can't deal with that, then of course it is very disturbing. But that is a big subject that I can talk about for a very long time, beloved. Thank you for your question.
Beautiful. Mary says, thank you so much for answering my question so thoroughly. And thank you for your input. Beautiful narrator. Excellent. I needed to hear. Sending much love.
Peace, dear one.
Oh, it's so lovely that you can all come and hang out with us. It really is. It's beautiful. Cool. Well, that's it for the questions. Should we do a little short?
How much time have I got?
Like 10 minutes. Is that good?
Yes, thank you. So, looking at all those questions, some about being here on earth, and understanding the purpose of your life on earth, whatever you're going through, your soul is going to pick and choose. There are so many possible experiences you could have. Trust. When one of my beloveds said, I'm sort of losing faith, I understand. She's done a lot of work. And it feels as though, and I notice, it feels as though there's something terrible happening. And yes, there is. However, Do you realize there's always something terrible happening upon the earth? Only this time you're all being made aware of it. What does that mean? That means that those who are having a terrible time are screaming very loud. They're literally bringing your attention to a great deal of suffering that is happening upon the earth, and that seems to be spilling over onto others. Everybody knows there are some unfortunate souls that have had a terrible time. They call it karma, and sometimes that is correct, sometimes it isn't. So what I want to do with our meditation today is remember everything that has been said, but above all, bring supreme love to all your places of doubt and fear. Lift yourself up. Lift the little child in you that might have fallen into a puddle of fear. Lift him, her up. Almost as though you are calling divine beings in to hold you and your child, because it is your inner child that shows you the emotions that are difficult. And it is your higher self and the divine presence that brings to you the overview of the supreme love that you need in your life, especially when there is this fear activated, triggered. And whatever situation you find yourself in, feel yourself being lifted up by the love, and through the difficult portal or the problem or the resistance or the pain that you're seeing, feel yourself being lifted with no effort, just lifted through to where you need to go. Feel the supreme love lifting you up. Allow yourself to see that, whether that is a small problem or a big one. This huge universal power, cosmic power of love is just waiting for you to call it in, to allow yourself to be enveloped by it, to lean back, to direct it like a chariot of mercy, of grace and healing, just waiting for your command. The power horses of love pull your chariot with you just resting and being lifted up. Passing through the difficulties, no one sees you. It is a cloak of invisibility. You pass through difficult trials, questions, pressures, threats. Nothing touches you. And that's love that lifts you up and embraces you. Drink it in, deep, deep into you. And feel yourself giving thanks. And feel yourself blessing the world as you rise up beyond being pinned down, beyond being entrapped, restricted, as you rise up into freedom, in your carriage brought to a heavenly place, a beautiful place on earth, here in your body, alive and thriving, and looking back, you see that many have come with you. They are also being lifted up on the wings of supreme love. They are also growing the power of love within them, drinking it, receiving it, digesting it. And feel how this great company, as it lifts up and rides through the heavy, dark clouds of bad weather, of angry, suppressive, fear-mongering, cruel commands and edicts. You are safe, swaddled in the light. You, divine child, are loved by divine Mother, Father. Feel yourself giving thanks, seeing the beautiful outcome, feeling yourself with all that you need in the beauty way, being prepared to change, being prepared to hear what the divine beings say to you as they lift you up and untie the ties that bind you. Feel what they say. Look at your life. Is there anything holding you down inside? Fears, worries, anxieties? Cut the ties that bind you to those places. Let yourself lift up in the cosmic love by the grace divine. The chariot of mercy pulls you forward to greener pastures, to freedom. Remember, it starts with your vision. See it strongly, see it clearly, and be in it. Enjoy it, and let joy come forward. Be very clear, be very sure. I am the living spirit within. I am the living spirit of supreme love, emanating from the source of creation. I am here on earth, the embodiment of love. My love radiates and expands my field so strongly and fills it with rainbow colors. With light emanating from many sources, I am filled and full of power to transform negative and painful aspects of my being that might weigh me down. And I offer all the pain to the solar beings, to the solar fires. I offer all that I do not need as I lighten my load and journey with the divine beings and become free, unfettered, free to bring forward into my life through me, into me and through me, this divine supreme love, the love that comes now to heal the pain and suffering of humanity. And feel yourself just bathing in a love that touches you, the very core of your being. Blessings and peace. Om Turi Svam.
Blessings and peace.
Blessings and peace, dear ones. May the love of Tara, of the Great Mother in all her names, hold you safe. Blessings and peace.